Alright, I made a video on agency and its vitality, how it's like 100% important to like everything. Um, Life and success or victory, and being good while doing it versus failure, death, and being evil while doing it or suffering it. There's another aspect to this, or another situation or thing that I forgot to mention, I think, but it's very important, which is the reason Jordan Peterson says to clean your room is because it's like always a good idea to do it, and it also is the simplest, easiest, and most common way to express agency while being non-harmful. So it's like the beginning of finding your inner power. And it doesn't have to be a lot at first. It can be a little bit. But you just have to have something you can glom onto and say, I did good there, and it was constructive, and do it more and more as you get more and more comfortable doing it more, or doing it. And it's a jump start to the process of learning how to be an agent in general, after learned helplessness and trauma and so on. It's like the first step. It's a little like Kill Bill when Uma Thurman is like, move your big toe when she's paralyzed. And then she says, hard part's over. It's kind of what it's like. 0 to 1 is infinite, but 1 to 2 is only double. And 2 to 3 is 1.5. So you just need the first step, really. And then you can start getting into easier and easier territory and so on, relative to where you're at now. I know that sounds kind of weird because you're going up in competence levels, but that's what it comes down to. Yeah, and then you can worry about the meta and the complicated stuff later when you get there. You kind of grow into, if you're on the right path, you kind of grow into knowing the next step. And you just need to trust yourself mostly and so on. I also forgot to mention, I know psychopaths and sociopaths exist, and so on. One of the things I will say about them is, and this explains why the agency destroying ideologies are said to be full of psychopaths and sociopaths and breed them and so on, and narcissists and so on, is they don't have a sense of personal agency, particularly, or others' agency. They just think things happen because they happen. It's a very... but they rebel against it slightly and so on. I think, while, like, they're not agents. They're instinct driven, basically. And that's what's wrong with them. And basically, anyone interested in agency doesn't have to worry that their agency will drive them to commit great evil. It sounds dangerous because doing something can be worse than not doing anything. But it's better to, there's two quotes and I forgot the second one. It ties to this first one a little bit. Oh, right. Okay. It's better to act and then beg for mercy than to ask for forgiveness, is one of the jokes people say, but it kind of works. And the other one is God helps those who help themselves. And that relates to agency and so on. And trust is important. When Jesus says he's the truth, the way, and the life, you have to walk the path of the way. He can't walk for you. When you trust in Jesus, it's about following him. But you have to walk towards him in his direction and in the direction of the biblical characters when they get better and so on. And some people will say, well, the Bible has a lot of terrible people. And yeah, that's true, but the ones that are heroes did something right, and that's why they're written down. The reason why all their bad stuff's written down is because they felt it was important so that they could relate to people who are making the same mistake as them. And they then tell what they did right to fix the mistake. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good enough. Thanks for watching.